Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing you something a little bit different this time around, a different kind of audio commentary. This time I'm commentating on something that I played. A lot of you guys wonder if I still play. I do play, though I don't play as much as I would like to be able to, and I play a variety of games. This is a Dota game that I played a couple of days ago, and this is going to be a commentary of me playing Dota. I'm being forced to record this commentary twice, because the first time around when I recorded this commentary, it kind of messed up. For some reason, because of the sound recording issues, and it only recorded the video in fraps, and it didn't record my microphone alongside it, which was really annoying. I don't know how to get both working. But anyway, this is Dota, and unfortunately now, so I'm having to commentate on the video I already saved, which means that I don't have mouse control and can't click around, and it's going to be much more difficult for me to stay in. Even though I'm used to doing VODs, I think in StarCraft it's quite different, and I'm not nearly as used to doing something like this in Dota, where obviously when I was doing the commentary, recording it as a replay, I was clicking on specific things at specific times and able to give you kind of specific info and pointing my mouse at various things. Anyway, this is Dota. It's a sort of an MMORPG mod for Warcraft 3. I think probably a better description of it would be RPG Counter-Strike, which is what it is, RPG Counter-Strike. And yeah, so that's basically what it is. You've got the red guys over there at the bottom left, that's the Sentinel. You've got the green guys at the top right, they're the Scourge, and the objective is to kill your opponent. I'm going to be on the Sentinel team this time around. My hero is the Juggernaut, one of my favorite heroes, and I'm playing a mode called APSO, which means you can pick any hero you want. There's a selection of something like 40 heroes. I'm just going to run up here to these shops in the side lane because one of my opponents is trying to come here and buy an item, and I was trying to thwart him from doing that, which I kind of did semi-successfully, but not really. Then I'm going to run back to try and do a creep block. You can see the WTF dude from my teammate, who is orange, who is the Tauren Chieftain, who's going to be in the same lane as me, and you can see him just sitting there on the minimap, and that's me clicking on him there. And he's obviously not sure why I did what I was trying to achieve there, but obviously if he'd come with me, we might have been able to deter the player from buying that item, chase him away, maybe even do some damage to him. But on my own, I'm not really able to take him early on. Because of the kind of hero I have. So I'm going to try and keep this commentary fairly simple and not get into too many details. You can see that the Lion has bought a Ring of Health, which I just pointed out there. And I was basically trying to stop him from doing that. The way the game works is that you've got three lanes. The bottom lane, which is where I'm in now, middle and top, and you've got units that come in from both sides. You've got the trees and the Druid of the Talons from the Sentinel, and you've got the Ghoulies and the Necros from the Scourge. And the units basically come across the lanes, they fight each other, they kill each other, and yeah, these are the units. So they fight each other, they kill each other, and the objective is to basically destroy your opponent's lanes. You've got three sets of towers, defensive towers, in each lane, and the idea is to destroy the towers one by one until you finally get to the base, destroy their producing structures, which gives you stronger creeps. And when you manage to do that, then you're able to take out your opponent's base and win the game. And that's the objective, is to finish the Citadel, which you'll learn a little bit more about as the game progresses. So anyway, I'm trying to lane against these two heroes, and the objective at this point in time for me is to try and get EXP to level up, and as well as kill monsters, kill the opponent creeps. And the way it works is whoever gets the last hit on a creep gets the gold for that creep. And that's the only way you can make cash in the game to buy your items. Now, I bought some items to start with. I started off with a Quelling Blade, which is a little axe item that you see there, alongside Ancient Tangles of Essification, which basically regen about 115 hit points every 15 seconds once you use them, and a Healing Salve, which regens a little bit faster if you need it. And they're pretty typical starting items for a decent level play, and I tend to go with them. The Quelling Blade basically gives me an increased attack against mobs and allows me to last hit better. But unfortunately, because I'm up against two heroes that are very strong laners early on, and I don't have a ranged hero on my team to counter-harass them, I'm not able to last hit as much as I would like to. And that was actually, to be honest, my last team was kind of semi-poor in this game anyway. But these guys are noobs, so I should still have done a better job. And you can see me being forced to eat tangles there. Anytime I try to get up close to the mobs to try and last hit them, they either stun me or nuke me. And look, these are my teammates. This is the Pit Lord, and he's just about to get a kill there. Pit Lord, different heroes have different skills in the game. One of Pit Lord's skills is getting that Graveyard Spike up that ensnares opponents for a couple of seconds, depending on the level. The heroes are a little bit like Warcraft 3, where you skill up kind of every level, and you have 4 main skills, and you can keep skilling up, I think, almost up to level 16 where you can keep learning new skills, and then after that you can kind of get stat boosts. I mean, you can get stat boosts earlier on if you prefer. It's really your choice in which order you level the skills. But yeah, you usually have 4 main skills, 3 normal skills, and an ultimate skill, which is available at 6, 11, and 6, 11, and 16. So again, you can just see that's that little barrier there that was created by the Earthshaker, who was the orange guy on my team. You can see him there standing next to me. That's one of his skills, where he erects this barrier of earth, where he splits the earth and causes this wall to erupt, and that's used to block opponents as well as temporarily stun them. But yeah, at this point in time, you can see I haven't made a lot of cash. I've only made about 300 cash or so, and that's primarily because I'm laning against these guys who are very strong early game, whereas my hero would be defined as a carry, and the objective of my hero is to try and stay alive at the early game and try and make as much cash as possible, because late game my guy starts to do some serious damage and produces a lot of WTF win, and their objective is obviously to try and keep me down for as much as possible. And to be honest, they're doing a pretty good job that early on. Again, spike from them, the line gets trapped by the Earthshaker stun, and I'm trying to Blade Fury, and this is one of my skills where I can Blade Fury. You saw me use this earlier on in the game. I tried to Blade Fury to try and take the lion down, but I wasn't able to, and you can see me crying about it there. I was unfortunately blocked by creeps and not able to get in range, and you can see that my partner, the Earthshaker, who hasn't played with me before and doesn't know anything about me, is not impressed. By the way, my screen name in Dota is Excession. That's the name I log in with, and it is not a new perfume by Paris Hilton, but as a matter of fact is actually excuse me. It's not a perfume by Paris Hilton. It's actually the name of a novel by Ian McEwan. It's probably my favorite science fiction novel, and if you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's pretty awesome. So we're just trying to lane against these guys, and what we're trying to do is try and block them by keeping the creeps back and trying to fight in front of our tower as much as possible. And you saw there the lion just went into the forest to try and do a sort of an ambush, but I removed the Fog of War, then I put the Fog of War back on for the purpose of the replay, obviously, and just trying to get a gank on us. And the objective here is that I'm just trying and stay alive for as long as possible, just try and stay back. And these guys have different skills. The purple aura you see around the creeps sometimes, and the video seems to be, I think I must have paused the game at this point in time, because the video still seems to be playing, but it seems to be paused. So I must have paused it for a couple of seconds, so I'm just going to let it run out and resume. Yep, it's started up again. So the little purple aura that you see around the unit sometimes, and there you see my pathetic attempts at creep blocking fail that time, but I have done it successfully a few times already so far in this video. But yeah, you can see that little purple aura around the ghoul. That basically is an AoE damage aura. Anyone who comes close to it takes damage, which makes it incredibly difficult for me to last hit, especially early on in the game, as I said, as my hero is quite weak. And you can see that I've already used up most of my tangles as well as my healing salve to try and stay alive and stay in the lane, and try and prevent my tower from taking damage. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to draw the creeps away from the tower and try and get the last hit on the creep so that I get the gold for it. But as I said, my last hitting has been quite woeful in this game. That time I managed to get the last hit on the Necro. So yeah, we're just being pushed back, and you can also see that I have very little mana, because every time the lion stuns me, he also has a spell that allows him to drain mana from me. That's the blue lightning thing that well, it's not really lightning, but kind of the blue line, or whatever you want to call it, thing that you see from the lion that basically drains mana from me. Now this time the lion coming in, he spikes and drains straight away so that you're stunned. Now the Earthshaker comes in, managed to get a stun off on the lion, and the lion's taking a lot of damage, and I managed to get a couple of hits on him as well. And now even though he's going to be hasted to try and run away from his teammate, the lion goes down from damage from the tower. And that's why you try and fight near your tower as much as possible. Now I'm going to try and chase this Darkseer down and take him down. He's sort of an int-based hero. He's an int-based kind of melee hero, which is unusual. Usually you have int-based heroes that are ranged. I think he might be one of the only int-based melee heroes. I'm not sure if there are any other around that are purely int-based. Each hero has a primary statistic. My hero is agility, and generally the damage dealers are agility. They're the carries. Strength heroes are generally tanks. On that occasion, we weren't able to kill the Darkseer because he has this ability that he can haste himself or his teammates. But the fact that the lion is now dead and backed off allows me to be a little bit more adventurous in trying to last it. You can see I'm able to last it a lot more mobs with greater frequency. At that time I missed that one, but I think I got about 3 out of the 4 mobs in this group. So yeah, I got 3 out of the 4 mobs, and that's 4 out of 5 or something. So that's pretty solid last hitting. and I've pushed up my cash to about 1,000. This would have been a good point for me to try and buy a Ring of Health, and I try to go and do that to the side shop, but unfortunately the lion comes out. I don't want to get trapped in there, and you can see them chasing, trying to get me trapped. In the end, he just settles for a mana drain, and once again eats up all my mana. You can see I have no mana left, which really sucks, because trying to play Dota with your hero without mana is kind of like trying to have sex without an erection. It doesn't really work all that well, and that severely limits your capabilities and the effectiveness of what you're trying to do, unfortunately. My teammate, on the other hand, has a little bit more mana because he's staying a lot further back, whereas I'm playing a little bit more risky. Because I'm the carry, I need to get cash, so I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive and try and get some last hits. The idea is just to try and, for me, is to basically try and stay alive right now. But I don't know what I was trying to show there when I was making the replay, when I was recording the VOD. But I think I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to indicate that the opponent has gone away, and that there's only one opponent in the lane, and that's why Orange is calling out missed bot. So because this is a game, this is a team-based game, I think the closest analogy, as I said, is RPG Counter-Strike. That's the closest way I would describe it, and it is a lot of fun like that because you can do a lot of teamwork and you can pull off team moves, and the objective is obviously to kill your opponents, and obviously every time you kill your opponent you get a lot of cash from that as well. So you want to try and get as many kills as possible. At this stage I don't think I have any kills. Yeah, so the Lion and the Seer are basically keeping us back, but because we're fighting near the tower, we're able to stay level with them, and really that's quite poor by the Lion and the Darkseer, and you can see me once again doing the creep block, fighting pretty much close to my towers. In order for them to kind of kill me, if you were fighting further up in the lane, which I showed you guys earlier, and again another spike landing on the Earthshaker, and they're trying to focus the Earthshaker down, and the Earthshaker almost dies, so I'm going to try and just block these guys from taking the Earthshaker down and prevent them from getting there. So I successfully managed to do that, to save the Earthshaker. I don't know why he's hanging around. He should really pull back. Now the Lion's chasing him down to try and finish him off, but the Earthshaker manages to cast a stun, and I think he was just trying to lure the Lion out. The Earthshaker was just trying to lure the Lion out and maybe try and kill him with the stun, and if the stun had been a little bit better, if the barrier had been on the other side of the Lion, which was unlucky, then the Lion would have been trapped and I would have been able to finish him off. So it was actually a pretty clever move by the Earthshaker, but he took quite a lot of a risk there because it would have only taken a spike from the Lion to finish him off, as he was quite low on health. And now I'm trying to do something quite difficult here, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to time your slash to hit between the stone throw from the tower, at the same time not take too much damage yourself. You don't want to be tanking the creeps, so that's pretty decent. I got a couple of the creeps at least there with last hitting, and yeah, so that was the idea there, to try and make sure I don't take too much damage from the creeps. Meanwhile, it's basically me against the Lion. Now he went back, but you can see he's already regened his health so quickly, and that's the power of the Ring of Health, which I've been trying to get for some time. I've got almost 1,500 gold and been unable to get that Ring of Health from the secret shop there on the lane shop, simply because they've been fighting outside my tower the whole time, and I'm unable to get to the shop. The alternative, of course, is I can always run back to the shop and buy the item from there, but I don't want to do that because that would slow me down in terms of losing EXP, and I would fall behind. Right now I'm level with these guys, which really shouldn't be the case. The problem with last hitting, what you can also do is, if you last hit your own monsters, that can, and I'm just showing the item here, the Perseverance on the Darkseer, but I'm actually going to get ganked right now, and I do get ganked. I went a little bit too far forward there, and the Darkseer pulled me in with his ability. He has this ability that can pull heroes in. You can see me crying, but really it was my own fault. I was a little uncautious there. The Pit Lord just teleports in to try and help out in the lane, although he's not really going to be able to kill anyone. But one of the things you can do is you can buy a chicken early on in the game, and if you buy a chicken, you can use that to transport your items. But in APSO you only have 600 gold to start with if you auto pick your hero, if you don't random, and I wanted to play Juggernaut, so I didn't really have the gold to spare. I basically needed all the items that I bought, so I couldn't really afford the chicken. But I didn't really want to go back to my base. But now that I'm back in my base, I've spent my cash because I'm tired of fighting without any items. And in a way, it's a blessing in disguise as well, because I'm going to get my mana regen finally. Because once they kind of drain it, it's very easy for them to keep your mana down. And I'm just going to buy a teleport scroll. Now you might think it's a bit of a waste to buy a teleport scroll, but usually you want the early game, you want to minimize your EXP loss, especially if you get killed. Right now the game is pretty even. Neither team seems to be on top, and I'm just circling around from the back of the woods to try and see if there was anyone hiding there to try and do an ambush or something like that, and we're just going to push on their tower a little bit. At this point I'm just saying bot miss one, just to let my teammates know that there's a player missing. As I said, this is a game where you can gank, and you can see from the Fog of War that I could only really see the Bat Rider there on my Fog of War, so he was the only real player, and the Mirana at the top left that I could see. And now, again, from the Fog of War, I don't really see a lot of opponents, so there could be opponents out there missing that might come and try and gank me. We've got the Seer here, and the Lion are back. So we should probably tell our teammates that they're back and that they don't have to worry about a gank, because now most of the opponents are visible on the map. And that kind of gives you an idea where you are. Meanwhile, I bought for myself, and this is kind of careless by the Earthshaker. He left himself too far forward and took a lot of damage, so they're not chasing him down. I'm going to come and try and help him with my Blade Fury on both these opponents. The Earthshaker ulties does massive damage to both of these guys. I managed to take out the Darkseer with the Blade Fury, and now I'm going to finish off the line with my ultimate, and that's a double kill for me. That was basically pretty decent teamwork. The Earthshaker was getting focused down on, and I had to kind of go and help him, so I went in with my Blade Fury, which is a pretty awesome move. It's one of my favorite moves in the game. Basically, you do this spinning attack, which does a lot of damage to anyone in the vicinity, but not only does it do a lot of damage, you can see a little bit of self-congratulatory mutual love there between the Earthshaker and myself, thanking each other for helping each other out. And appreciating each other's talents and skills and all the rest of it, even though it was a pretty easy kill on those two guys. But yeah, they were trying to focus him down, which meant that they weren't attacking me. But the Blade Fury is brilliant, because not only, or I think it was called Blade Storm originally, but it's called Blade Fury in this. But it's awesome because not only does it mean that you do a lot of damage, it means people are first of all not trying to attack you because they don't want to take the damage, especially early mid game, and also because it makes you immune to any magic spells and effects, which is handy for me against those two guys that are very strong laners and damage dealers, and that makes a big difference. Now rushing in the Lion and insta-gib on the Earthshaker. The Lion rushes in. I immediately Blade Fury to try and do some damage, but then realizing that actually my teammate's dead and I'm going to get owned if I don't get out of here. So I run back, and I'm just showing the score here for the teams. I can't see it. Unfortunately, as I record this in Windows Movie Maker, I can't see the scores. When I was actually watching the replay, I could see everything properly, but it's too small, the window in Movie Maker, for me to be able to make that out, unfortunately. But so far, I'm doing a decent job. I've only died once. I've gotten 2 kills, so my score is 2-1. I've managed to amass a decent amount of gold, and I'm just checking the forest up here behind because I'm worried. I don't see too many opponents on the mini-map, and I'm worried that someone might be trying to gank me. As you can see, I don't see anyone in the mid lane. I don't see anyone in the top lane, and so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not going to get ganked by the opposition, because that's what they should be trying to do. They should be looking to try and gank me. Once again, coming in, Earthshaker leaving himself a little bit vulnerable up at the front, getting spiked and losing some mana in the process, but he's got some items that give him a lot of mana. You can see his base mana is already very high. Meanwhile, the Darkseer has what's called a Perseverance. And I'm just informing my teammate that if he's going to try and go forward, I'm not going to be able to do much to help him because I don't have any mana for Blade Fury or my ulti. So at this point in time, I'm going back into sort of kind of semi-defensive mode, just trying to save up my mana and not get mana drained by the Lion, and try and have enough mana to do my maneuvers. I bought a Boots of Speed, a Wraith Band, as well as a Circlet. I like Wraith Bands and Circlets because they give me more stats, and excellent stun by the Earthshaker on the Lion, but unfortunately neither of us is able to get in range to actually finish him off. And when I also bought a couple more tangles of Essification to allow myself to heal while I'm in lane, just until I can try and buy that Ring of Health once we push these guys far back enough. And I think I'm actually about to go and do that now, going by, because we've finally taken control of the lane. Again, looking at the forest there to make sure there's no one trying to ambush me. Of course, I can't see that in the game with the Fog of War, but I'm able to get my Ring of Health, which regens 5 hit points per second, which is not as good as the Perseverance. One of the things I like about Dota is that you can buy items in your base, but what you can do is you can take kind of component items and use recipes to combine them into stronger items, and that's pretty awesome. Like, for example, the Ring of Health generates 5 hit points per second. You can combine that with a Void Stone, which generates 100 mana per second. And there I just went to check the forest, saw the Lion coming in from behind, and immediately went to Blade Fury. If the Earthshaker had mana for a stun there, or had managed to cast a stun there, we would have managed to kill him, but the Earthshaker was a little bit slow to react. The Lion was trying to come and ambush me from that ambushes from the forest behind, and that's why the Earthshaker, acknowledging my efforts at saving his ass essentially, because the Lion was coming in from behind. Because the Lion does a lot of damage, especially at this stage in the game. His nuke and his ulti do quite a lot of damage, and he's trying to focus his damage on, and I've spotted the Batrider now coming in for a gank, so there's 3 enemy heroes now in that area to 2 of us, which means we've got to play a little bit more cautiously and hang around our tower more. I'm going to once again try and block these creeps and keep them back to try and fight near our tower. But I saw the Batrider there, so I know he's there. I'm telling my opponent he's there, or telling my teammate he's there, and I'm just getting him to pull back. And that's why I said Care 3. And we're actually getting someone to teleport in to try and help us out, which is the Pit Lord. Again, these are all random players. I wasn't on vent with them or anything. so teamwork was kind of more about instinct. But actually, if I reveal the Fog of War, this is something I didn't know. Actually, their entire team had come to try and gank us. There's 3 guys, and there's the Tide Hunter, the Mirana, which is the lady on the lion, and that was good dodging by the Pit Lord, dodging the Mirana's arrow, which would have stunned him if it had hit. Meanwhile, just getting chased by the Tide. I'm hoping the Pit Lord will do his spike thingy to stun them. I'm not sure how much mana he has, or maybe he didn't have mana, that's why he wasn't going to do it. Meanwhile, the Earthshaker gets taken down. He runs right into 5 of them and dies. Pit Lord gets that stun in, but it was a little bit too late. If he got that stun in earlier, I would have been able to hit them with my Blade Storm, which is what I was trying to do. The Earthshaker crying, not happy at all about being ganked by essentially the entire opposing team. And it would have been pretty bad if he would have rage quit at this point in time. Pretty decent items on the Pit Lord. He's got a couple of intellect bracers, I like to call them. I can't remember what they're called right now. It's just gone out of my head. He's got a Perseverance as well as a Void Stone. As I told you before, Perseverance is made from combining a Void Stone and a Ring of Health, which the Void Stone gives you 100% mana regen, Ring of Health gives you 5 regen per second, but combined I think you get something like 6 health regen per second, 125% mana regen, and 10 damage bonus. So it's pretty awesome, and then you can use the Perseverance to make other items. Now a couple of heroes get sucked in by the Darkseer, that's the Windrunner in purple, the Pit Lord and the Windrunner taking a lot of damage, taking nukes, and they're chasing her down to try and finish her off. I'm trying to hold them off with my Blade Storm and just try and force them back, but the Pit Lord running in, unfortunately also trying to save the Windrunner, dies, and stupidly enough the Windrunner actually managed to escape because the Earthshaker comes in, does a massive stun, and does his ulti. So the Earthshaker comes in, spams all his moves, and manages to do massive damage to them, but now the Earthshaker is coming under fire from the Mirana and the Batrider, and the Earthshaker goes down as well. So I didn't really get involved in that fight because I couldn't really go in and do my normal attacking moves with all the nukes in play, and I was forced to kind of hang back, and unfortunately my team died. I wasn't really very useful in that fight. But I think it was a pretty even fight. I think 2 or 3 heroes died on both sides, so it wasn't too bad. And I'm actually complaining about someone wasting the rune there, which a rune is basically a magical skill. Well, it's not really a magical skill, it's a magic that you can use in your base with a long cooldown that makes your towers invulnerable pretty much for a short amount of time. And my teammates had already used up the rune earlier on, and you probably saw me crying about that on the first tower, which was going to die anyway, so it was a bit of a waste and it could have been used there at the second tower. Now I bought myself these Clarity Potions, which regen 100 mana over, I think, 30 seconds or something like that. And I'm just tired of not having any mana in fights and not being able to spam my move, so that's why I bought a few Clarity Potions to be able to do that. And I'm switching to the mid lane now to try and farm some cash, because I know I need to get some cash. I'm behind at this stage in the game in terms of where I want to be, so I'm just trying to get some cash by coming in and trying to get some last of these monsters on these creeps. And try and farm some cash that way and get some EXP to level in as well. And the Pit Lord has similar ideas, although he's certainly made more cash than I have initially, and that's mainly because he's got this move called the Firestorm, which he can spam on creeps and make money that way. My style is a little bit more defensive. I like to hold back, especially when I'm playing a carry hero, and play relatively defensively. Good stun by the Earthshaker as well as a pike, but it was a complete waste because it was an illusion, and that's what I was trying to tell these guys. I saw the illusion from the Batrider. These guys obviously didn't. This is a second illusion, so they wasted kind of their moves a little bit on that. Now we're developing into a little bit of a Mexican standoff here. There's 3 heroes on this side of the cliff, looking across the river on the other side, and we're 4 heroes on their side, and at this point in time, it's not a good idea for us to push forward and try and take them on. So we're just trying to block our creeps and hold them back to try and get their creeps to come and fight near our tower. We weren't really able to block them enough that the creeps go in. And at this point, I'm going to get tired of just hanging around here. We're trying to look to see if anyone makes an aggressive move, whether I can make my move. The problem with my ultimate is pretty cool. It basically teleports me to a nearby hero and allows me to slash them, to a nearby enemy and allows me to slash them. And it basically randomly slashes 3 times at level 6, I think 5 times at level 11, and something like 7 or 8 times at level 16. But the problem is, if I do it now, for example, with all these monsters around, I could randomly end up slashing the monsters and not doing any damage to heroes, which would kind of be a little bit of a waste. So I just decided that I wasn't enjoying the standoff too much, so I just backed off and killed some creeps to make some cash in the meantime, trying to be efficient. Meanwhile, the other player we have on our team is Techies, which basically means we're 4v5 in any meaningful fight, and these guys are now trying to take this tower down, stunned by Earthshaker to block him. It was a great stun because he actually managed to get the Darkseer trapped in. I came in with my Blade Fury to try and take the Darkseer down. Darkseer hastes himself, escapes with just a sliver of health, tries to get out. I ulti, slash the Darkseer, and luckily get a teleport to the Batrider, and I'm able to finish him off as well. So I managed to get 2 kills there with my ultimate, and basically that's the Ponage ultimate. The Mirana managed to jump out and escape. I'm just trying to ward off the Lion here to protect Purple, who's going to do something stupid and come back. I think Purple, either he got greedy and thought we could take the Lion, which we can't because I don't really deal enough damage at this early on in the game, or quite simply, He thought I was in trouble, which I wasn't, and he came back, and the Lion managed to get a kill on him because the Lion does a lot of damage early on. Mirana was there to help out as well. So purple goes down, the Windrunner goes down. I managed to escape with my Blade Fury, but now I've amassed enough cash to go and complete my Perseverance. I can buy a Void Stone now, which will be really good for me because it'll increase my damage. And the abilities my hero has, he's got his main ability, which I've been spamming a lot, is the Blade Storm. Then he's got a passive ability, which basically gives me increased critical strikes. You're going to see me crying a little bit here about Goblin Techies. Goblin Techies is a hero that basically is a support kind of, not even really a support hero in that he can't really get involved in fights. Now, if it's a good player, he can sort of get involved, but you'll never really see him in Clan Wars, which kind of suggests to you the useful or uselessness of that hero in the game. I'm just trying to make a little bit of cash here. And he basically just sets these invisible mines and remote mines around the map, and if the enemies run into them, they get blown up. And he can be a lot of fun to play, but he's pretty useless to the team, and in any sort of team fight that's not happening where there are already mines planted, you end up in a situation where you can be 4 of you because techies can't really get involved in normal fights against 5 of them. Now, a good techies, again, can be semi-useful on public servers, but generally they're not that great. And I'm just frustrating the Earthshaker there by taking all the last hits on the creeps. He's not happy about that at all. My last hit, I'm able to last hit much more freely now because I've essentially got a free farm because I'm not being opposed right now where I'm farming. And the Earthshaker has gotten frustrated by it, and he's actually spamming his abilities to try and make some cash because I'm taking all the cash, which I need to do because I'm the carry. I need to get items to take my damage. The other ability I have is a passive ability that gives me critical strikes every so often. It gives me a percentage chance to have a critical strike, which is pretty useful to have. Now I'm just running around. I've seen some enemies on the left-hand side lane on my mini-map, and I'm just trying to see if I can maybe get an ambush on one of them, or if one of them is going to try and come out and I can catch them, because my ultimate works most effectively when I'm one-on-one with an opponent. I'm just switching back off the Fog of War here as I watch the replay. But my ultimate is most effective when I'm one-on-one against an opponent, because then they have to absorb all the damage from my hits. And usually I can do enough damage to pretty much take an opponent down with my ultimate, especially once I get kind of the level 2 ultimate at level 11. Level 1 ultimate isn't as effective. So here I've run into the Tidehunter. I immediately Blade Storm because I don't know who else is in the area, and I thought he might try and ulti me. His ulti basically fires a massive spikes on the ground and stuns everyone in a large radius around him. But now I realize he's on his own. He's got no teammates around. I ulti, he dies. His teammates were obviously not there. They might have been coming for a gank, but in the end they didn't. And I managed to get a kill on him. And he rage quits. That poor guy, frustrated getting owned, decided to leave. And that kind of really sucks for their team. They're going to lose get another player killed here. I think the Lion got trapped and got taken down. But the poor Tidehunter, it was unfortunate for him. He was obviously annoyed at the fact that he went in, and I'm celebrating because now it's essentially 4v4 is the max they can have in a fight. Especially since Techies doesn't seem to join us in any fights. But they're quite annoyed because obviously because they've lost a player. But I'm rejoicing because he was their only strength-based hero, I believe, which means that late game our team is now going to be much stronger because they don't have a tank, and they would have to have one of their other players. Now, Seer can be a decent-ish tank, but the problem is he is an int-based hero, so he doesn't get the strength bonuses as well as a strength-based hero would. He's not really an ideal tank, although he can kind of sort of semi-do the job. I mean, any hero can tank with the right items. Batrider can be an okay hero to absorb damage as well, but they don't have a pure tank, which I guess neither do we. I mean, we have Pitlord, who's kind of a caster tank, and we've got Earthshaker, who is more of a support caster than a tank, really. But these guys, they could have played a lot better. They could have done better strategy right now to try and hurt us. And they were kind of careless to let their friend. I suppose the Tidehunter, it was kind of the Tidehunter's own fault. Meanwhile, I've managed to save up enough cash to buy a Claymore, which costs 1,400, and it's part of the recipe for my Battle Fury. I'm trying to warn my guys that the opponents are all missing to not push forward in the lane. They were a little bit too aggressive there, and the Windrunner paid the price for that, dying. And now the Techie's coming under fire from the line as well, but the Earthshaker comes in to try and help him. I'm happily enough just busy farming my cash in the middle lane, and I'm finally decided to come over and get my lazy ass down there and try and help them out a little bit. So I'm now running across. You can see me on the mini-map. The white dot is me running across the mini-map to try and help them out. But getting you can see the stun ward. That's the only really useful ability that the Techies have is that stun trap, which is invisible, and if they run into it, they get stunned. But our Techies was quite useless, and he didn't really use that much at all. I came in from the back with my ulti, but unfortunately there were monsters around, there were creeps around that absorbed a lot of my ulti, so I wasn't able to take the heroes down, and then I had to Blade Storm to try and escape from there. Again, any other hero who would come in with that situation would probably have died because they would have just gotten stunned and nuked, but the Blade Storm allows me to be immune to magic, and so I can escape and rush back in to do some damage. So yeah, the third ability my hero has, apart from his ultimate, which you've seen me use quite copiously, is a healing ward. But I tend to not skill that early on because I'd find that I think it's useful to have a level of it, but I early on I never find I have enough mana, and by the time I have enough mana, it's not that useful. Although well, I'm being a little bit unfair. I think it can be actually pretty good ability. So I'm just going to take opportunity now to just make a little bit of cash, because you've always got to be looking to be efficient and make as much cash as possible. If you're not fighting your opponents, or if it's kind of a standoffish situation and there are no creeps to kill in the normal lanes, then it can be a good idea to just go and farm some cash. And I'm just farming a little bit of cash to try and get the money I need to finish off my item, which will allow me to build my Battle Fury. I've already got the Claymore. I need 1,200 gold to get the to get the Battle Fury, to get a broadsword, to finish my recipe, and that's the item I'm going for. And I love the Battle Fury. It's an awesome item, and I'll show you guys once I get it. It's a pretty awesome item to have, and it's one of my favorite items in the game. I like to get it on a lot of heroes, and especially on my hero. It's a very useful item, which I'll explain to you guys later on once I actually have it. Meanwhile, Lion has completed his Scepter, which increases the power of his ultimate. I think it reduces the cooldown, result increases damage, these two guys, I think they're just looking to try and set up an ambush right now, and as you can see, they're all kind of weaker heroes. They're all kind of support caster heroes. Earthshaker, this is the problem. You see, when I was doing the commentary in the replay, I was clicking on specific things and pointing them out. Now I have to kind of guess where I'm going to click next to show something specific, as I'm trying to do in Dota. Anyway, it's not an insurmountable hurdle. Continue to farm cash. Now entering into the mid game, where their early game advantage is starting to peter out. Mirana is the girl on the Lion. And now they're going to engage right now in the middle of the map at the bottom lane. And unfortunately for them, it's going to be 3 against 2 for my teammates. Purple is going to die straight away because he's a weak hero, and Purple dies. Blue managed to just about escape with a little bit of help, but they're coming around to try and take him down, coming around to circle from behind. Earthshaker running in to help, but he's not able to get there in time. But Manoroth TP's back to the main. He's got this ability where he can rift back. His ultimate allows him to rift back to any building. I think it's a 6, 5, and 4 second delay at level 1, 2, and 3 of the ultimate. And he basically cast that the moment he realized he was in trouble, and was able to get away from them using it. And now we're just coming out to try and defend this tower of ours, or I'm running on through the forest a little bit more aggressively now to try and see. Now that I've got my Battle Fury, that's going to give me a lot of damage. I've got plus, I think, 53 damage looking at it there. Or is that a little bit more? But I'm able to run around the middle of the map and try and find isolated opponents that I can take down. And I'm going to actually try and ambush these guys who are in the bottom lane. I can see a couple of guys in there in the bottom lane, and I'm going to run in and ambush them. I'm going to once again lead with my Blade Fury to prevent them from stunning me, because both these heroes have stuns. Now, at that point, the Lion could have stunned me, but he didn't. But now he's gotten stunned by the Earthshaker. I could have ultied, but I was a little bit greedy, and I was trying to kind of kill both of them at the same time. At that point, I couldn't ulti because the creeps came in, and then the Mirana was out of range. Now we're chasing the Lion around. I'm trying to finish these guys off without having to waste my ultimate, because the ultimate does have a decent cooldown and costs a lot of mana. But they're doing some good evasion, and my teammates aren't able to get the stuns off to disable them. The Lion once again turning the Earthshaker into a chicken to prevent him from stunning. Mirana came back to try and help Lion. He got away scot-free, and that's going to cost him his life, because I was able to ulti him and finish him off. I had to ulti him there even though he was stunned, because otherwise he would have gotten away and just leaped out. So I was kind of forced to use my ultimate there to take him down. Now the Lion, we're trying to chase him down, but he manages to chicken the Manoroth, and he's doing the right thing there. He's basically disabling the hero. He's basically disabling Temple, the hero that has the ability to disable him and stop him from getting away, which is why he did the Earthshaker earlier, and then he did the Pit Lord, which was kind of clever of him. And that was kind of silly of us to try and come back and stop chasing the Lion, try and take the Darkseer down, because the Darkseer can just haste himself and run away. And then the Lion, feeling quite pleased with himself at having gotten away there, but I wouldn't be bragging if I was him. He should have been doing a lot more damage early on in the game than he was. He only got a couple of kills. He should have been dominating early game, which he wasn't, and that's what's allowed my hero to get reasonably strong. Now, Battle Fury is an awesome item. You can see that big-ass axe, and basically, it gives you plus 65 damage. It gives you, I think I have plus 83 damage actually. I can't make it out. The font's too small in this window. It gives you plus 83 damage. It gives you mana regen as well as hit point regen, and it gives you a cleaving attack, which means that you do AoE damage, and it just allows me to farm cash so much faster. And obviously the increased damage means that my criticals are much stronger. You can see I'm critting for quite a lot there, and doing significant amounts of damage whenever I strike. But I'm continuing to just farm up. I'm still not invincible at this point in time. I'm continuing to try and get stronger and stronger and fight strategically and pick my battles, which is really the key in Dota. You've got to pick your battles. Techie's dying stupidly in the middle hasn't really contributed much to the game apart from perhaps 1 or 2 odd kills. And now you can see the enemies are trying to push forward. They realize that they can't let this game get to late game, because I'm going to get overpowered and take them all down. So they're trying to push and put some pressure on us, try and force us to defend. A couple of remote mines from Techies there. He can basically he has some mines that explode when opponents run them, others that only explode when triggered. And now Lion is trapped, and I'm trying to get in range of him but I'm trying to circle around the wrong way, and I'm not going to make it in time. Now I again lead in with my Blade Storm to prevent them from nuking in. And this would have been a good point to trigger the mines when they were standing on top of him, and he does actually trigger them there. But unfortunately, they're not enough to actually kill anyone, but they did a good amount of damage. If they had a few more, they would have killed them. Once again, these guys hung around. They should have run away when they had the chance. Lion using the stun to try and slow us. But he's almost dead. Again, he's just hanging around. I don't know why he's hanging around for, because he's going to get killed. I, again, don't want to try and lead in with my ultimate. I was trying to get in range to try and ultimate the Mirana and then rebound onto the Lion later on, but I wasn't able to do that. Now the Lion is trapped. I immediately ulti the moment I get in range. Mirana gets lucky that my ulti bounces around. And in that occasion, I think some might argue that I was kill stealing there, but I don't really think it was a kill steal, because there were still 3 of them there. There were 3 of us, and even though we had the Lion trapped, the Lion would have been able to spike my teammates and prevent them from getting in and killing him off. So I was better off just taking him down there and getting into the heat of the battle. This time I finally used my healing ward to heal my teammates. And the good thing about the healing ward is you can actually set it to follow yourself as well, and that was kind of silly of me to just leave it there the whole time. I could have brought it out, but it expires after a little bit of time. It's actually quite a great item to heal with. And now that we've killed a couple of our opponents, we can push. And I personally, this is personally my favorite kind of style of playing. I prefer to farm def. I prefer to play very defensively and accumulate cash and items and get stronger and stronger and try and not die as much as possible. And then when I get strong later on in the game, then I play a little bit more aggressively. And I also like to push when the opponents are dead, so that I don't get ambushed in front of their towers, or when I'm in too advanced position in their territory, I don't end up getting ambushed or ganked. That's the kind of style I like to play, especially on public servers. It's a little bit different in clan wars and things like that, where you have to kind of play for the team and not really look at your own stats too much. But in these kind of games, I very much play for my own stats, and obviously for the win. The win is more important than your stats. But massive battle going on in the middle here. You can just see, for someone who's never played Dota, it can be a little bit confusing, because you just see a bunch of spells going off, and once again the healing ward coming into use from the Juggernaut just to heal the team. And the Windrunner being a little bit careless there, venturing out quite far by herself, even though the team is nearby. They're all quite badly damaged and used up their mana, and he took a little bit of risk there, so I've had to come in with the Blade Fury, once again save his ass, to just try and scare the 2 people away. But he still continued to insist on fight, and I guess he feels he's got enough support here to do that. Now I'm in a little bit of trouble, because I don't have a spell handy, and I've lost a decent amount of health, so I'm just circling around to avoid the Batrider, who then gets chased away by the Windrunner. And the Lion now comes in and manages to chicken the Windrunner. And I think this is the point where you would probably look to back off. If you hang around too long, you outstay your welcome, you get taken down, and but I don't want to leave my teammates kind of by themselves as well to get ganked. So we're able to back off at this stage. I think that my team are starting to get the upper hand. We're starting to gain the upper hand on the opponents, and they're now being forced to defend and get on the defensive, while we're able to go on the offensive and attack them. And another battle now happening in the middle of the map. This time they're going to be a little bit trapped, and my ulti once again comes into play. I take the Lion down and managed to kill. I don't think I got a second kill there, but I managed to take the Lion down, and then I Blade Stormed out of it. And the Juggernaut is so effective at doing that, getting in, killing one person, and then getting out with his Battle Fury, because he's immune to spells. And I almost got killed there. I got down to 400 health. I think that's the lowest I've been in this game, apart from the time where I got killed earlier on from the early game. But and you can see the awesomeness of the Battle Fury there. If you guys noticed, I got like 3 48s or 4 48s in a row, where there were 3 or 4 badly damaged monsters creeps right by each other, and a single hit killed all of them for me, and I got a lot of cash. I'm not sure exactly what the Earthshaker's complaining about. Maybe he feels we let him die, or maybe he feels I stole the kill there or something like that. I'm not sure what he's complaining about, but he cries a lot anyway, so I don't really mind. And I'm just letting my teammates know that I'm backing off the shop. If they want to stay in the lane, that's, you know, they're doing so at their own risk. If they get ganked, it's not my fault. But at this point in time, Dota is again one of those accumulative advantages game. You have to accumulate your advantages slowly over time by last hitting, by denying your opponents the EXP, by farming up the cash, getting better items, killing them, making them lose cash, because every time you die you lose cash, which really hurts at higher levels. You can lose a lot of cash. But these guys are with decent items as well. I mean, the Batrider's got a Shiva's Guard, and I think he made a mistake in going for that, because the costliest item in making the Shiva's Guard is the Mystic Staff, which gives you a lot of int, which is good, and costs 2,800 gold. But with the Mystic Staff, he could also have made a Gwinsu. And with the Gwinsu, you can turn an opponent into a chicken for a couple of seconds with a pretty low cooldown, even if you don't have that ability, which the Lion naturally has the ability to turn opponents into chickens. But the Gwinsu does it as well. And I think if he'd gone for the Gwinsu, they could have Gwinsu the Earthshaker, who's our main disabler at the start of every fight, and taken him down, and that would have severely hampered our ability to fight. And he made a tactical error. He went for an item that kind of gave him more protection. individually for himself, but is not as effective in my opinion in the kind of situation that he finds himself in. And I think that tactical error is going to cost him. Right now I'm just circling around. I don't see any opponents in the minimap, so I think maybe someone's farming their local creeps here, and I'm going to run into someone and I ulti him straight away. I run into the Darkseer, he hastes himself, but my ulti still takes him down, and he goes down. And you can see I've actually bought a point booster now, which is an item I need, which gives me 200 health and 150 mana. And now I'm coming in to try and help my teammate here who's fighting in the middle of the lane carelessly again, the Earthshaker and the Windrunner, and with the healing ward I'm able to kind of heal them and ferry them back with the Blade Storm. But Windrunner continues to be aggressive. Not a good idea against a Batrider, because Batriders are first of all very hard to kill, second of all they can do a lot of damage, and the Windrunner, I guess maybe he's trying to act a little bit as bait, but you've got to be kind of intelligent about it at the same time as well, because sometimes the bait does get beaten. Earthshaker just providing a little bit of support, and at this stage I'm like, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a standoff in the middle. I'm not interested in that. I don't really think I'm going to be able to get a kill, so I'm just going to pull back. I've already used my ultimate, so I'm just going to pull back and farm some cash here. But lo and behold, by the time I get there, I run all the way across the map, and you can see me complaining quite a lot there, because the Pit Lord teleported using his boots of travel, those little things, those boosts of travel, and stole all the monsters, and I'm complaining that he should let me have had them, especially since I ran all the way across the map, since my hero is the carry. Now the carry basically is a hero that, and Pit Lord quite sarcastically pointing out to me that I'm 9-1, and I've been getting all the hero kills for the team, from the team, and so I shouldn't really be complaining about cash issues, which of course I'm not going to admit to in the middle of the game, but I think he probably had a fair enough point there. But a carry is basically, you generally don't want more than one carry in your team. Now, once again, a battle happening, Batrider managed to finish someone off. I'm going to try and take the Batrider down. Remember, my ultimate is still on cooldown, so I can't just ultimate slash him and jump to him. And he does a good job of evading me there through the forest. He's already used his Firefly, so he can't just use it just straight away to escape. And he's just, unfortunately for me, I'm being blocked by the creeps and not able to close in upon him and do another Blade Storm or something like that, or land a hit on him, even though I've got treads, which makes me move quite fast. And just now, as I'm about to close in and my ultimate is finishing on cooldown, he manages to escape. And the problem was I never really saw him long enough to be able to ulti on him, because I would click my ulti, and just as it would start to cast, he would disappear into the fog of war again, and I wouldn't be able to catch him. Earthshaker with a great stun there, trying to catch him, but he was long gone. Batrider long gone. Now I'm just running in, trying to see if perhaps the Earthshaker had him stunned, and if he was still hanging around I might have been able to finish him off, but he was too smart for that. He's not going to hang around there, and he runs away. But yeah, so the carry is basically a hero that is kind of useless early game, even mid game. If focused down, they die quite quickly. Now the Juggernaut is a good carry because he's immune to magic, but he still, if they had kind of if they focus me down properly, if Mirana was DPSing me down and if they were trying to take me down, they would be able to kill me quite quickly, and that's the problem with carries, is that they die quite quickly. Now I don't want to use my ultimate here because there are all these mobs nearby that would eat up my ultimate if I tried to do it. I don't even think I have my ultimate. I think it might be on cooldown. Stun going on from the Earthshaker, unfortunately not catching the Darkseer, so he manages to escape. Meanwhile, one of my teammates decides to up and leave. That is the Windrunner, who has been playing quite horribly this game anyway, and I don't know why she left, but that equalizes the game a little bit, because now it's 4v4 overall, but it means it's kind of 3v4 in fights. Because again, Techies is useless and hasn't really done much all game apart from putting mines down that people don't really run into. I'm just going to take this opportunity to keep farming some cash, keep building up my items. The great thing I love about Dota is you don't have to go back to your base to buy items. You can buy your items in their base and they can kind of wait for you back there. And now I'm just running around the south to try and gank someone because I see them on the minimap. Now my key is to try and get him away from the monsters, but he's being a little bit cocky here. But I guess he can afford to be, because the Mirana has this ability to go invis, and he's going to use his ultimate there to just go invis and escape from me, and I'm not going to be able to kill him. Now if I had a dust, I would have been able to take him down, but these guys aren't skilled enough and haven't really done enough damage and haven't played well enough to really warrant me buying dust, and plus I don't really want. I guess I could have thrown my quelling blade away at this stage and gotten some dust to replace it, but I'm still doing a lot of farming cash and stuff like that. And now I think I have enough for my scepter, and yeah, I'm celebrating that. You can see the 2 items that I bought in the shop beforehand waiting there for me to collect, and I'm going to be able to go and collect them and complete my scepter. And what the scepter does is it makes my ultimate more powerful, in addition to giving me 10 of every stat plus some mana and health, and it's quite useful to have. Now I'm trying to ask my teammates what they think I should go for next. Sometimes I do get a little bit indecisive in terms of the items to go for. There's so many options, so many recipes, and I'm trying to decide between either a Monkey King bar or a Breeze after I've completed my scepter in terms of damage, dealing. Now I've got my scepter up. I've got my 2 Wraith Bands, I've got my Battle Fury up, and the next item for me would probably either be a Satanic or a Dominator Helm to try and leech life when I attack, or a Monkey King Bar. Now, sometimes some people would want to get the Dominator Helm earlier, and it just depends on the game situation. This sort of situation, I was doing okay, so I was able to afford getting the Scepter. And what that means is I'm going to be able to do my ultimate, my slashing ultimate, a lot more often, and at the same time, I'm going to be able to do more damage with that ultimate because it gives me more slashes as well. So I'm starting to get into the overpowered range now where, as it is, they couldn't really take me on one-on-one before, but they certainly can't now, and they probably can't even take me on 2-on-1. I would probably be able to kill at least one of them and get away if there was a 2-on-1 fight. Roshan is this kind of giant creep, uber creep, who spawns kind of in this area of the map, and if you kill him, you get an Aegis of the Immortal, which basically grants you 1 extra life, which is really handy to have around. But surprisingly, we didn't choose to farm him. We had loads of opportunity to take him down, but you really need to have lifesteal on your hero, on your carry, to be able to do that. Now we're just going to try and take the Darkseer. The stun misses from the Pit Lord, but I'm going to be able to ulti him, and you can see he's absorbing a lot of damage. He has some decent items, and it took pretty much a lot of slashes for me to take him down. And if I hadn't had the Scepter, I probably wouldn't have been able to kill him there, but the Scepter gave me the extra 3 or 4 slashes I needed to actually be able to kill him. And I'm just going to farm some creeps for good measure. Now I'm just looking around. I'm able to be a lot more aggressive now, running into the Bat Rider as well as the Lion with the support of the Pit Lord. The Pit Lord is going to get focused. They're not really focusing me because I kind of ran out there with the Blade Storm, and the Pit Lord taking a lot of damage. So I'm going to come in here and try and support him. The Bat Rider dragging the Pit Lord away. The Lion behind him, I can't reach the Bat Rider, so I focus on the Lion instead. Get a couple of crits on him, 2 hits, and he goes down. So the Lion goes down. I think that's probably my first kill from this normal, or actually no, I got a kill on Bat Rider earlier with normal attacks. But I managed to take him down. I didn't realize that the Mirana was chasing me from behind. Turn around, but she's gone invis already and escaped. And the Manaroth managed to escape as well. The Pit Lord, the Lion, meanwhile, has finally given up. He GG's and he quits the game. He's tired of getting pwned. Not too happy about the situation he found himself in there. And getting 2-shotted by me was basically the last straw for him. And at this stage, I'm just dealing so much damage with my crits that it's not a good situation for the opponents. And essentially, the game is lost. But for the fact that there are all those towers there, and if they fought in front of the towers, they might be able to kill us. So that's one of the things I don't like about Dota, that sometimes when you're quite firmly ahead, you still have to play cautiously and not finish the game. Now, if all my teammates pushed together, we could take this game down. And if I was playing with my friends, I would probably try and finish the game right now. But I don't trust these guys. I don't have faith in them. I don't know what they'll do or whether I can rely on them or not. So I'm just going to do my own thing and let the game finish organically as it winds down. Generally, the games last about an hour. I mean, they last anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour. Once again, I'm going to try and come in for a gank. Good stun from the Earthshaker, but Mirana leaps out. I couldn't use my ulti because I was in the middle of the Blade Fury. I had to wait for it to wear off before I could do my ulti. And meanwhile, the Mirana managed to get away. Now I do manage to get an ulti on Darkseer, who left himself vulnerable. And that's all it takes. It takes a second for an opponent to be away from their creeps and out in the open for the Juggernaut to ulti and kill them. Now, these guys have only themselves to blame. If they put more pressure on me early on, ganked me a little bit better early on, then I wouldn't have been as strong in the game as I am. A lot of it is down to hero combination as well. This is APSO, which means it's all pick. You can choose the heroes you want, and inevitably what happens is a lot of people end up picking heroes that are kind of carries or kind of strong early game sometimes. And when they do that, when they don't pick balanced heroes, they end up getting owned. And now I'm just setting a couple of mirror images in here to try and absorb some damage, and I actually made them waste their ultimate there. Made the Seer waste his ultimate on my mirrors, which was awesome, while I continued to creep here at the bottom. But I was actually greedy this game. Normally, I wait in all pick games till the very end before I pick my hero to try and get a hero that is compatible with the team, because usually no one gets a tank or no one gets an intelligence hero, and you kind of are forced to be the one to pick it. In this occasion, on their team, no one actually picked a tank apart from the Tidehunter, and he left. And so they found themselves with a disadvantageous hero combination late game, but they only have themselves to blame for that. Now, once again, trying to draw the Mirana out. Again, good stun. Again, he leaves, manages to escape before I can ulti him, unfortunately. We're forced back. I didn't really want to use up my ulti on him there. Now I get stunned. I'm in a little bit of danger here because I'm getting dragged as well. I managed to cast my Blade Fury just before he dragged me, but he still managed to get the drag off. Now, with the healing ward to heal myself, the Earthshaker chases him down. And my ulti coming in. Mirana dies very unluckily, because I was ulting the Bat Rider trying to kill him, but the Mirana ran essentially into my ulti and got taken down. Now focusing the Seer down with my normal damage. I've used up all my abilities, so all I have to do is just attack him normally, but he manages to hiss himself out of there. But the Earthshaker, with a stun, chases him down and kills him. He's got quite a long range on that, and the Seer was only on a sliver of health, so that stun was enough to take him down. The Earth Split was enough to take him down. Now I've got my Demon Edge, which gives you plus 36 damage on its own, and combined with other items allows you to make a Buriza, which gives you increased criticals. And I was basically trying to get 1200 gold there to buy the Buriza recipe. And the way it works is you build a Chrysalis, which is a weapon that gives you a little bit of damage and critical attack. You combine that with a Buriza and the Buriza recipe to make a Buriza Dokanyon, and that gives you a lot of damage and a critical strike. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the MKB, which is the Monkey King bar, and I prefer getting that a lot myself. But sometimes I feel that the Buriza can be better, and this time I just wanted to try the Buriza out, and now I'm trying to decide what I should get next, which will be the Satanic, but probably the game will be over before I can get that. Because really at this stage, these guys are getting completely destroyed by us. So I'm just going to be able to run into the middle and take all these creeps down thanks to my Battle Fury, which allows me to hit multiple creeps at once and kill them quite quickly. And I think I actually speeded up my replay there to X2 at some point in the middle of this to try and hurry things along a little bit. You can see things as well when that happens. But once again, Seer hasting himself. I didn't really want to use my ultimate around creeps, because what can happen is Seer hastes himself away and I end up ulting creeps and completely wasting my ulti. So a lot of the one reason I like playing Dota is that there is definitely an element of skill involved, but it is a very, very tactical game. It's all about decision making. And I feel that as a gamer, that's always been something that's been a strength of mine, is my decision making. When to attack, when to play defensively, which ability to use when to support your teammates, when to let them die, and when to sacrifice them for your own benefit. Now trying to ulti this Bat Rider, and he actually survived that. He actually survived a full ulti from me, because he's got a lot of tanking items. He's got a Shiva's Guard as well as a Scatty, which gives him a lot of hit points and stats. He's got plus 20 armor. And I think a part of it was also that he was floating over those trees, and I think a couple of the slashes might have missed because of that, although I don't think that should happen. And I'm not sure if that does happen with the Bat Rider, but I think that might be one of the reasons why he survived there. Either that or he just managed to somehow absorb the damage. Now the opponents try to make pathetic last-ditch push at bot to try and focus our team down. But at this stage, they can't really kill anyone on my team, apart from Techies, who's useless anyway, because they just simply don't deal enough damage. And Techies is going to die. Techies gets taken down by the Darkseer from the Darkseer's aura. The Darkseer, you can see, doesn't have a lot of items. He's got the Shiva's Guard, which is a big item, but that's stupid. It's a waste, because these special items, and there the Mirana gets ulti down by me again. But the Shiva's Guard is a stupid item to buy for him, because his teammate already has it, so he would have been better off getting something that would have given a different aura and stacked the auras together, as opposed to having the same aura, especially since I don't think these kind of auras stack. They don't like give you a double effect if there's two of you around. But at this stage the game is pretty much over, guys. I hope you enjoyed this commentary of Dota. I'm probably going to put it up on the Viletech account because it's so freaking long, and I don't feel like splitting it up into 6 parts. Let me know what you thought of it anyway. If you want to see more commentaries of this kind in the future. This is just a little bit of a fun sidetrack for now. This is Klazart. I hope you guys have enjoyed this anyway. Thanks for listening, and I apologize for keeping it pretty basic and rudimentary, but I figure some of you guys who might be watching this commentary might not have seen it. But the game ends at this point, and thanks for listening.